What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Meran podcast. Today, my guest is again Alex Bellemare. For this episode, we pick up right where we left off at the end of episode 17. We talked about Alex progressing again in 2013, finishing 4th at X Games, and then having a huge bummer in his career of missing out on the Sochi Olympics because of a knee injury. We also talked about him achieving his childhood dream of winning an X Games medal in 2015, and the challenge of keeping up with the insane progression of trying tricks that keep getting riskier and riskier. We also talked about another big accomplishment of his, of qualifying for the Canadian Olympic team and going to the 2018 PeyongChang Olympics. Big thank you to this episode's sponsors, Access Board Shop, Treefort Lifestyles, J Skis, Decan's Restaurants, Planks Clothing. Let's go. So going into 2013, then you already had a lot of big steps. Like you were getting on trips with Armada, you had done Euro X, Do Tour. Then the next step was 2013, your first X Games.
Yeah, there was also Do Tour before that, and I think I did pretty good. I believe I got 6th, but I'm not sure. I know I made finals at every Do Tour at Breck except the first one, I think. But anyway, so yeah, I did good at Do Tour, and then I got a spot at X Games. And that went super well. I just wish I got 3rd, but
yeah, you ended up 4th.
Unfortunately, I didn't. Yeah, I got 4th. I was bummed. As good as I had skied and all that, I was still bummed.
And that also is a crazy run.
Thanks. Yeah, the Switch 4 was like brand new. I just learned it at Breck like
first rail
2
trick.
weeks ago, not even. And I saw Woodsy do the Switch Tails 4 on a down rail at the Copper Grand Prix prior to the X Games, and I was like, holy crap, that's the coolest trick of like, you're like, no, there's no way that you can do that, and he did it. So I was like, okay, I went and then learned it.
And 2013 was a time when people were doing bigger tricks in slope, in rail tricks, but still you would see the casual like 270 onto forward, like stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I just picked up Rockstar too, and I'm seeing the helmet right now. I was hyped.
Switch tails 4 on, back to into lip 2, so that's really similar to Euro X. You're right. Misty gapping the whole rail.
Yeah, that was my thing. It was a wow factor.
Then
that's what kills me, I think. I really wanted to do a switch dub off that box, but I didn't.
Dub 10 Japan.
I learned it with Japan on that contest.
Right dub 12 mute.
I learned that like 2 weeks before with ABM. It was so sketchy at Breck.
Were you like the two guys motivating each other, saying we got to learn it?
We were like on a mission. ABM went to that X Games too, and we were trying to up our right side game.
Yeah. And
I had learned, like, I had done right 12s at Whistler summer camp, but they were like sketchy and scary. And so at Breck, me and ABM worked on those a bit. And I remember Oystein Broughton, who wasn't the Oystein that we know now, was over there, and he was like kind of looking up to me and him like, yeah, you got this, man. Like, you're able, you're so cool and all that. And then years later, he ended up winning every single contest that we were in. So, yeah.
It's crazy how you got tricks quickly. It's like every time it's like, I need to learn it, so I'll learn it.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that's what it is when you're young, and like that's...
Well, I think it's the mindset, because ABM still did that for a lot. He's still doing that today.
Yeah,
because he's not young anymore.
Yeah,
and
but
he's still like doing new tricks.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You're right.
This year.
Yeah, but I guess he's still crazy, and I'm just not crazy anymore. Because when I was young, it was easy because I was like, okay, that's what you got to do, just do it. But now I'm just like, nah, fuck that. Yeah, I just want to go chill.
I remember filming with him the spring before that, while in Whistler that I was talking about, and he was trying right dub 12s, like he was learning them and eating shit.
Yeah. He struggled. I don't think he ever really did them anymore. Like, I remember
because his slope runs are always switch right dubs.
Yeah, and he did a right dub 14 at Breck when we were practicing those right 12s. Yeah. He did a right dub 14 by mistake, and
stomped or like back.
No, probably back slap and shit. Yeah, but no, you're right. He kind of just gave up on that trick.
Fourth at X Games in 2013.
Yeah.
Another step up after being fifth.
Yeah.
Sixth at Du Tour, fifth at Euro X, then fourth at X Games.
Yeah, for sure.
Were you like craving for some podiums at that time?
I mean, I was craving for that podium, to be honest. Like, I thought my run was going to be it, and it wasn't. And I felt really good about my skiing, so I was hoping I'd get on it, but it's okay. In hindsight, it's fine. But yeah, I wanted to be on the podiums. I knew I could be. At that point, it was pretty obvious. I just had to figure out on that dub game, and I did that at X Games. So I knew that every contest from that point on was like
Game
a
on.
possibility. Yeah,
because you were on par, pretty much on par in terms of jump tricks at that point.
Yeah,
and like one of the best guys in terms of rails.
I could hope that my rail would be the little sauce that you want just to make it.
So then, what was your highlights in 2013 after that? I know you think you mentioned it, but you blew your knee.
Yeah, I blew my knee. Before that, I won my first big air contest. I won so much money at that contest. I think it was 15, or maybe it was only 10. Anyway, I won a lot of money, and we went to the bar. It was Frostgun Invitational. I just got invited. It was crazy back in the days. Like, there was just like a bunch of invitationals and just random contests. Now it's all World Cups and all that.
Yeah.
I just got an email like, "Hey, Alex Bellemare,
do you want to come?
Do you want to come to our invitational contest? Lodging is free, and that's it." I was like, "Okay, sure, whatever."
And you ended up winning.
And then I ended up winning, and I remember Alex Ardal got screwed because he was doing switch 12s and 14s, and he didn't even do good, but that was so like before his time, the way he was doing it. And
was it kind of like dub wobble?
It was kind of more like the PK way, like more like
not
switch
flippy.
7 to switch cork 5 kind of, not like switch cork 9 to backflip. Anyways, they were super nice, and he got screwed, but I ended up winning with a dub 12, dub Jap, and a switch dub 10 Japan, and partied super hard. And then when we left, the organizers just gave me money for the taxi ride happens. I don't remember anything about it. Wake up at the airport, driver's super mad. I remember Woodsy was in the taxi too. I don't remember the other guys, and I couldn't figure out why the driver was so mad. And then he asked me to pay him, and I just give him all the money that I had, which was more than the fare. So he stopped complaining. And then we hop out of the taxi, and I go to pick up my backpack, and it's full of puke. Because I got sick on the car ride, and there was nowhere to puke. And I hate bothering people, and I hate being a nuisance. So I just tried to hide it, opened my bag with my MacBook in it and everything, and puked right on my MacBook, and then it smelled horrible for the whole ride, but I was asleep, so I don't remember anything.
So you were going to the airport?
Yeah, and then I ended up flying with a backpack full of puke, and I was like, I gotta bring back my MacBook. Like, there's a bunch of stuff on it. I hope I can save it. So I brought it all the way back to Quebec, and of course it was dead. There was no way you could save it. Yeah, the smell. I don't even remember, dude. I was hungover, dude. So hungover.
Oh my God.
And so that was a funny story.
Damn.
So I did that, but I didn't care because I just won like 10 or 15. I don't remember how much it was, so I just bought a new computer. It was okay.
There's a shot on YouTube of you at that contest talking about it. You do a switch dub, and your ski gets off while you're midair, and you land on one foot.
Yeah. Yeah, I got one up to a lot now. I think Evan did a triple one ski landing.
Yeah, this year.
Yeah. But yeah, back in the days, I was all the hype, dude. I don't know why. I guess my ski was clipped on weirdly because it just came off right on the takeoff. No resistance whatsoever. It just came off.
Yeah, and that's a contest that didn't last long, right?
No, I think they did like three times they did it. But then the prize money kept getting lower, unfortunately, so people kind of lost interest. But I think I went the year after that. I won the Rail Jam, but not the Big Air. Didn't make as much money at all.
So that was another good winter. Again, doing better and better. Fourth at X Games. Win the Frostgun Invitational. Mm-hmm. And then is it at War of Rails that you blew your knee? All the Quebec boys were going, and I remember you smashed your face big time.
Yeah. I tried a hand drag on this like barrel thingy, and I didn't drag my hand, and I just did the cork 5 and landed super cork straight on my dome.
When we talk about like stuff that you guys did that was dangerous and that accidents can happen, War of Rails was that thing. Like you smashed your face. I think Girai same year like
possibly
broke his hips,
right?
Like something gnarly.
That's horrible though.
Yeah, like fucked up accident.
Yeah, War of Rails was gnarly, dude. Like it's so crazy. I was going over there with, like, I don't think I had insurance or anything. That's fucked up.
And now it's time for a first sponsor break. Treefort Lifestyles is a company based out of Oregon. They've been involved in the ski industry since their inception in 2011 when they made their first pair of suspenders for skiing. They produce some of the nicest accessories you can find out there for your adventure activities, whether you're going skiing, hiking, or traveling. I've worn their suspenders all winter, and I have to say I love them. They're stylish and they're so comfortable you forget you have them on in the first place. Go check them out at treefortlifestyles.com and use code MERAN at checkout to get 15% off your order. Support companies that support skiing. Support Treefort Lifestyles.
But yeah, like those setups were like amazing to ride, but like they could have been like park shoot setups where you get to like slowly ease into it, not where it's like, all right, you guys get to warm up for 2 hours and then it's the jam and that's it. Yeah. It's like, holy crap, everyone's hucking, dude. And like, it's so big. It's gnarly as hell. And I remember there was this huge cannon with like the shortest landing and there was a fence right after. So like, that's where I learned cork blind 810s out. And I remember landing and you straight up had to stop. Like, but if you couldn't stop, you probably would have died and skied into the crowd. So yeah, gnarly, super gnarly. It's cool though.
Until you smashed your face?
Yeah, until I smashed my face. And then I remember I was all like paranoid about it. I was like, so I ended up going to the hospital and getting a bill. But it wasn't that big because nothing was broken or anything. It was just like swollen. X-rays. Yeah, because it was my eyes was super swollen. And I'm always like, oh, yeah, it's the end of the world. I am dying. Take care of me. So I was like, yeah, for sure I broke my skull. I'm just so tough right now. I ended up having basically nothing. So
well, when there's something on your face, it always looks like
for sure. And it sucks. Like I remember like my eye was swollen. I couldn't see as well, and I was all like paranoid.
I remember going to Hood with ABM.
Yeah.
And he was trying a bunch of tricks, learning a bunch of tricks before he got pro. Mm-hmm. And last day of the trip, he lands something on his face. I don't remember what, but he gets his pole in his face and he has a big scratch under the eye. Like he kind of looks beaten. And then we drive straight back to Quebec the day after. Mm-hmm. We passed through the customs, maybe like in the Chicago area or like, it's in the middle of the night. And there's ABM sleeping in the back.
Oh, gosh. And you're driving?
I'm driving, and then I pull down the window, and there's just ABM sleeping with his eye cut off.
Right.
And the guy is like, son, are you okay?
Take him away from me.
ABM wakes up, and he's like, whoa. Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, that must have been sketchy and funny.
Yeah. So you smash your face in War of Rails, but you end up being good.
Yeah.
How did the blown knee happen?
World champs in Norway with Team Canada. So
that was like kind of the
March,
first years of having world championships.
I think it was the second one. They had one in 2011, and now there was one in 2013.
Like and leading up to the first Olympics.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's always world champs every 2 years. Not on the Olympic cycle, Mm-hmm. So then I just ended up over there. There was this huge jump. It was a second jump. You could do a pole jump or like a cannon rail and then jump. I ended up trying that big jump switch, and it was like sketchy and windy. And JFL guineaed it the run before, and I followed him into the guinea, so we were both guineaing it, which is like the stupidest thing you can do.
Because if he eats shit, you're both.
Like if he overshoots everything, I'm overshooting everything beside him. Like I wasn't following him in his tracks, but so imagine like 2 skiers from Team Canada just blew up. Would have been funny. So anyway, we guineaed it, and then the run right after, I'm like, I'm gonna do it switch because I got to do it switch in my run. And I just did a switch 180 and I overshot everything. And as soon as I landed, I just let out the most high pitch I'm dying scream, dude. Like, it scarred like Evan and Noah. They were on the knuckle and they just heard that and they were like, oh my God. Like, I don't know what happened, but he broke everything, like both femurs or some shit.
If it was filmed, it would be like in competition with my ankles are broken.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It would be like, yeah, I don't know. It was super high pitched death scream. And so I knew I blew my knee. I knew something was super wrong. And I had so much speed and momentum because I went so big on such a big jump that I just kept tumbling after that on like a knee that was blown. And some people don't feel it and can keep on skiing. Me, I was just like dying. So,
did you do the classic, like trying to get up and fall back on your face?
No. I was down. I was staying down. I got, ski patrol got me out of there. As soon as the ambulance showed up, they were like, you want morphine? I was like, sure, dude. Of course I do. I am hurt right now. And from that point on, it was chill. But, yeah, once again, I thought I was dying.
So that was the end of your season, pretty...
Yeah, that was actually kind of the end of the, like, come up of the whole, like, everything. It was... My whole career was going up for 2 whole years. And then the Olympics were going to happen. And it was a bummer because, like, I would have had, like, good potential for the Olympics. But everybody, when I blew my knee, like JF and Tobin kind of looked at each other and they're like, shit, there's no way that he can, like, be 100% in, like, 11 months or 10 months.
There's a couple people that got into that position for the Olympics. I think of Wallish and Kajaturski.
Yeah, you're right.
They both blew their knees, and they both were on a marathon to try to get back in shape.
Yeah.
Wallish ended up not qualifying.
Yeah.
Kaya ended up going there, but like not 100%.
Yeah.
It seems like such a struggle. Not a struggle. It's not even a good term, but like
a chore. It's a
chore, but like something so rough of like Wallish was the best guy in the game at that point, and he gets like bad luck.
Yeah.
Same for Kaya.
Yeah, true.
Where it's like,
that's brutal,
hey,
sure.
see you again in 4 years. But like 4 years is a long time.
You're right.
Did you have in mind of like going to the Olympics?
Yeah, I thought
were you like, okay, I'm not going to be able to?
No, I thought I was going to go. I didn't know about the whole qualification and whatnot. I already had a couple of results because they take the results from the year prior. So I already had 4th at X Games. But I don't even know if it counted because back in the days it was only the 5th until Team Canada realized that like the big contest where everybody was at were like Dew Tour and X Games. So I thought I knew I was going to be able to compete at the Olympics if like my body was going to be ready, but I didn't know that I had to qualify for that. And I didn't know that I wouldn't be able to do that at all.
Like nobody explained like the...
Not really. I'm super flaky, dude. Like all I cared about was going skiing and doing good. And like, I did not care at all for any like blah, blah, blah. You need to do better than this guy who's skiing moguls and all that. Like I did not give a crap, dude. I just went skiing and if I'm in, I'm in. If I'm not, I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember from the outside being bummed, knowing that we had so much talent in Canada.
Yeah.
And only ABM went.
Yeah, it was for sure. It was huge bummer for my part. Like, and I was like on a roll.
Were you in shape by that time?
Yeah, by that time I was. I didn't do Dew Tour in December of that coming year, but like when the Olympics happened, I had just learned switch dub 14s on my own at Keystone just because I was hungry for it, and Emile was there actually. Emile Bergeron. And so I had just learned switch 14s and, I was still hungry. I was strong and I was like, I wanted it, but I couldn't do it at the Olympics. But I so wish that I would have gotten the opportunity, dude, because I would have learned a triple on the spot. And like, I don't know. I felt hungry in those days and I wasn't scared of anything. It's a bummer.
Did you watch the competition?
Of course I did.
What were your thoughts seeing the course?
I mean, I was crying inside, dude. It was
like the
so perfect.
Yeah, the most perfect course ever.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you actually go over there and learn a triple on the spot. Like, easy, dude. Like, it was so perfect.
Joss's winning run, his final jump is a switch triple. And it looks like the slowest triple ever, like just chilling in the air.
Yeah, for sure. It was. I don't think they ever built like a slope course like that one. Like they had huge rails in PeyongChang, but normal jumps.
That was dope because people were scared, or at least I was, that since it's FIS and the Olympics and all that stuff, that maybe they would butcher it a bit, like do a shitty slope course. But it was like the dopest ever.
Yeah, no, they got it. They figured it out. And the weather was so good too.
Yeah, so like kind of springtime.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Henrik doing a butter triple like on a in the middle of the course.
Yeah. No, it was on the first jump, I think. And then a switch right dub, and then I think it was nose butt triple.
Nose butt triple.
Switch dub, switch right dub? Yeah,
I think that's and he ended up with switch right and kind of muffed it.
Yeah, you're right. Crazy contest.
Yeah. And now it's time for a second sponsor break. Planks is a British outerwear brand founded in the French Alps. Yeah, you can ski in the UK, but you probably wouldn't. But these guys are still passionate about skiing, and as someone from Quebec, I definitely relate to that. They don't just make high-quality, good-looking gear that's affordable. They care about the free ski culture too, running grassroots events and sporting skiers that are some of my favorites like Woodsy, Lupe Haggerty, and the Real Skiffy crew. Make sure to check them out at planksclothing.com. Support companies that support skiing. Support Planks Clothing. So 2014 was kind of a mellow year for you getting back into it?
Yeah, but I still went to Europe and I did like my first SFR tour, and I did the Vars tournament, which was like game of skate and all that. So I was like doing stuff still, but it was all so under the radar compared to the Olympics that you would think I was basically up to nothing.
2015?
I think that was my best year.
You finally get your podium at X Games.
Yeah, exactly. I got third.
About time.
Yeah, I was hyped. And actually, like, we were saying about time, but I really only did 2 other X Games before. So, like, but it still felt like an eternity because you're waiting an entire year to get back to it.
But when it's young people that are hungry like you were and that are talented like you were, sometimes it comes quick. Like for Gepper, when he came in, it was quick. And same for Bobby Brown. And when you come in, even though you're a rookie, like same thing last year, Colby Stevenson, it was his first year and you won.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it happens on the first years. You're right. 2015 was like the year that I felt the most on top of it, and like I had the most potential for podiums because everyone was kind of exhausted because it was the Olympics the year prior to that. I was super hungry because I didn't get to compete in them, and I had learned switch 12s and 14s in Keystone. Yeah, and people were doing those, but not that often, so I could do 312s in every run, and so I always had jumps that were like a little above average, and then I could do my rails and
so like right
aim
up
for
12,
the podium all the time.
Right up 12, switched up 12, and then left up 12.
Yeah, that was usually what it was. I usually ended with the left 12, but yeah.
What made you do like the right before the left?
It was just because I could look over my shoulders. I was trying to find the reason, but that's what it is. It's because when I spin right 12, I land looking over my left shoulder already. So going for a switch left 12, I'm already looking at the jump. I'm already going into it with the vision and all that. It makes for a less spinny run, I find, in video, and like looking at it looks more in control, and your head ends up spinning 360 degrees less.
So that run, switch tails 2, pretzel 2.
Switch right tails 2.
Switch right tails 2,
learned, in qualies, I didn't do it. I learned it for finals.
Switch left 4 on to a wall ride, kind of.
Yeah.
And then crazy trick, 4 on disaster, pretzel 4, stomped.
Yeah, that was my thing, dude. I was banking everything on that. Yeah, so you see, I land, I'm already looking over the shoulder. That's why I was doing it that way.
Right up 12, to switched up 12, stomped.
Speed was a little sketchy, I guess.
Yeah, it looks
I managed, though, but...
On your last jump, you're kind of almost not getting it.
Damn, almost didn't get a medal right there.
Woof. How is it for you dealing with competitions? Because you're talking about flat light and speed issues.
In those days, I didn't mind at all. Because I was
dealt with it.
I was on top of my tricks, and I knew that I could get them. And I was actually hyped when it was shitty weather because I was on top of my tricks and I felt like I could do them in any condition. Whereas if it was super bluebird or something, you might have some guy throwing a triple, and that was not an option for me.
And your strength is your rail tricks.
Yeah.
Those go anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I didn't really mind the weather at that point. But it definitely started to bother me a couple years later, for sure. I kind of hated putting myself in danger at that point.
For our generation, and X Games is the dream.
Yeah, I agree.
You're still young at that point. You get your X Games medal.
I was hyped, dude. And then, like, I didn't even know, but there's this whole press conference after you get a medal, like, or you're talking and the media's, like, asking you questions. Well, they didn't ask me any questions, really, because Nick just got 3-peat. So I was kind of just, like, the guy who got third. Who cares? But I was so hyped, dude. Just there was a mic in front of me, and I was standing there, and a couple of people asked me something, and I was like, damn, dude, I'm a superstar. I was also scared it was all downhill from here, because, like, that was my dream when I was a kid. Like, of course, it was a gold medal when I was a kid, but, like, still getting an X Games medal was, like, what I wanted, and I just got it at that point, and I was like, shit, what if it's all downhill from here? What if I can never get as good as I just did this year? Like, what if next year I'm not as good?
Why?
Because I'm like that.
But
like,
you weren't up until that point. It was. Were you?
Yeah, I guess. Like, I've always been a little like I've always been the type of guy who's like, in practice, I would never do my run because I was like, what if I get my run 3 times in practice? I'm bound to fuck up. Nobody's perfect. I already got it 3 times out of 3. I'm going to get it 75% of the time. So I'll screw up the 4th time. And if that's my run, then I screwed my run up. So I barely ever did my runs in practice because I didn't want to, like, push my luck.
So you didn't have in mind the other side of saying, like, I want to practice them just to be sure I'm on point when my run comes?
Well, yeah. But I also saw the possibility of maybe not being able to get back to that. Like,
that makes
everybody gets a high point in their life, like, and you don't necessarily know when you're there until you're past that point, and it's going down. And, like, I was acknowledging that maybe that was the high point.
Yeah, that's like the memes. Sometimes in your youth, you didn't know you were going to play in the playground for the last time, and it was the last time.
Yeah, exactly. Or, like, you wish the good old days. You wish you're living the good old days before they become the good old days. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, what you're telling me reminds me of, like, in cartoons, you see the little angel on your shoulder and the devil talking the good side and the bad side.
Yeah.
And it seems like the devil was winning. Because there's the good side of saying, like,
hey,
I'm going to practice and I'm going to get it good. And then the devil saying, no, they're going to
What's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point? But yeah, no, for sure. Little Lucifer's loud as hell.
So 2015, you get your X Games medal. At that point, you're not filming with any company. You're just, like, focusing on competitions.
Yeah. It was such a good gig with Team Canada. Like, hey, dude, we'll pay you. We'll pay every trip. You just got to go ski the best parks and do your run. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not going to go shovel stairs. Like, this is way too much fun. I'm just hanging out with the boys. And
it's a hard deal to say no to.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. And even, like, other sponsors are hyped that you're getting TV time and all that. So I was like, sure, I'll do that. Fine with me, dude. I also there was Aaron Style right after that. I got second to that. And so
Aaron Style, which is, like, the big air competition.
Yeah, Sean White's big air thingy-majig. They did it for skiing that year, and got an email. Hey, Mr. Bellemare, do you want to come to our contest? Everything's paid for. You just got to get your flight, and we'll take care of the rest. And so flew to not LAX, some other airport in Los Angeles, or not Los Angeles, in California. And best week, dude. Like, it was warm outside. We were walking around in shorts and all that and going skiing, and there's this huge jump. It's a festival. There's, like, Kendrick Lamar who's singing and all that. So you felt like a superstar, dude. And we were living in, like, a sick hotel that was all paid for. It was nice.
So it was a city big air.
Yeah, it was a city big air, exactly. It was my first scaffolding jump, actually.
Was it sketchy?
No,
like,
it was
as
fine.
Someone who can be, like, thinking of the bad outcomes.
Yeah, no, I hit it switch and I didn't find it sketchy. I think the sketchiest part is being up top and looking down and thinking, like, how is this thing not gonna topple over? Like, it can't be that solid, but I guess it is. I'm sure some engineer signed off the paperwork.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then the finals got canceled for that contest, so I ended up taking the results from quali, and I ended up doing a switch dub 12 dub jab and a switch dub 14 dub jab. Those were my 2 jumps. It's so whack when you think about. Well, yeah, it's whack as hell. It's like the same trick plus a 180.
And now it's time for another sponsor break. Axis Board Shop is a ski and snowboard shop based out of Saint-Sauveur, Quebec, Canada. They've been in business since 2002 and have supported skiing since day one. From sponsoring numerous athletes to putting on competitions to helping out movie productions, they've done it all. Axis is the core board shop, and they've got everything that you might need this season. Check them out at axisboutique.com or go check out their shop in Saint-Sauveur. Support companies that support skiing. Support Axis Board Shop. You're not the only one to have done that.
I know, but like I thought it was whack, but I was hyped because
like
prize money was crazy.
Bobby Brown, I think, his rookie year in Big Air, he did switch dub Misty 12 and switch dub Misty 14.
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
Like,
yeah, that was it in those days. You're right.
Regetli this year. Dub 18. Well, no.
Yeah, but they didn't count.
No?
No,
because his trip revert was more points.
Yeah, now it's like 1 forward and 1 switch or 1 right and 1 left.
No. In X Games, they did that.
Oh, really? They didn't?
And they reverted back.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Anyways, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember the year they did a couple of years ago, like maybe 3 years ago, they were doing that at X Games, left side and right side. And I remember Enric calling them out in the interview.
Oh,
like at the bottom of the course, the girl
you're right.
asks him about something, and he ignores the question, and he's like, yeah, it would be dope to go back to the other format.
Yeah, I got something to say.
And plus, he's like, usually Enric is like, just chill, and like,
and
when he says something like that, you're like, okay,
we'll listen.
Duly noted.
Don't say that again. We'll listen.
So, yeah, great year.
Yeah, super good year. And there, I also got third or second at SFR. Anyway.
Which were slopestyle comps in France.
Yeah, slopestyle comps in France, exactly. I got third because the year before I got fourth. So, yeah, I got third, which was another podium. And then I hustled because I got a good result at that big air contest. I hustled and went to 2 more or 3 more big air contests so I could get a good result for the AFB standings, because that used to be pretty big, like winning the overall AFB. And I was gonna do super good for slope. I wanted to do good for big air, and I also ended up going to JOI that year. Bought like last second $2,000 plane ticket because I did this like online entry thingamajig, like send a video and hope you can win, and I ended up getting invited because of that.
Was it like a view contest?
Yeah, kind of entry, like for anybody could enter. And I ended up doing that, and I went to hang out at JOI with the boys.
Well, it's kind of surprising that you had to do that, considering you were in the comp game, you had some results everywhere.
Yeah, but I didn't have big air results at all. Every comp I did was slope, and so I was kind of a big air nobody. So that's how
So first time at JOI?
Yeah, I think that was the first time. 2014 was the first time. The year before that, we skipped an event. That's where I did my first 16 Japan.
Dude,
nobody filmed it. One guy said he filmed it. Said, "You want to see your shot?" I was like, "Yeah, show me." And then he said, "Oh wait, oh shit, sorry, I can't find it. I didn't film it." I was so bummed. Then I did it again in the contest, and I thought I was going to 16 because I did it to 16 in practice. So I thought I was going to 16, and I thought I had to do this like little shifty 90 degrees to land perfect at 16. But I got lost, and I would have landed perfect at 14. But I shifted my skis and just ended up landing sideways and hitting my dome super hard and like getting rocked.
So was that 2014 or 15? End
of 2014.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was kind of a turning point a bit, where I was so scared. I actually learned the 16 at Frostgun, but I never landed it. And then I landed it for the first time at JOI. But that was a turning point for me where like I thought something, and that wasn't reality. I thought I was going to 16. I thought I had to do a 90 degrees with my skis. It was obvious for me that was what was happening. but that wasn't the reality of it. And then I started doubting myself a bit in my skiing, where like, you remember that one time when you thought this was happening and you had to do that to do good, and that's not what it was. So that was, and I also hit my head super hard, which always sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I remember talking to JFL about that also. Of like, you were trying to triples to stay up on par with the game, and he had the same problems going into Sochi of like right side spins were his like weakness.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of water ramps, I think, to try right doubles.
Yeah.
And like, he was comfortable, and as soon as he got like back on skis, he tried it and like got wrecked.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's when he was like, okay, I'm done with slopestyle.
This. Yeah.
And he went on to like make a hole again.
Made on to kill it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
you got wrecked
at JOI 2014. Had a good year 2015.
So is that where you kind of like started to doubt yourself? Because you said
a little bit.
You still won bronze the year after that.
Yeah, but I didn't have to do a triple.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why you were glad that it was flat light.
Yeah, exactly.
You were like, okay, I'm not gonna have to risk it.
Yeah, and same for Aaron style big air. Like, shit, there's no finals. That's a bummer. Like, everybody's like planning to just huck it in finals. Well, turns out you can't, and turns out my quali jumps, which were going to be my finals jump, also are good enough for a podium in these circumstances. So, yeah, I was stoked. Whenever the weather was shitty, I was hyped.
There's a lot of people that, especially kids these days, that learn dubs or triples by rinse and repeat. They try it again and again and again. What was your process of learning triples? Like, I guess you weren't that type of guy of like trying it 100 times on the water ramps or something like that.
I messed with the water ramps a bit, and I never liked them, so I didn't really want to spend all my time and energy on that. When I did it at Frostgun, it was like, I knew I could do it. Dub 10 to cork 5, easy peasy. You got it. Did that, landed on my feet, but washed out, whatever. Did that at JOI, landed the first one because the jump was so big. I was like, okay, I got this, dude. It's exactly what I thought it would be like. And then ate shit at JOI. And then from that point on, it's like, oh shit, they're not what I thought they were going to be. And so I got scared from them, and I kind of like didn't want to practice them at all. Like, I didn't want to learn them, neither on water ramps, neither on an airbag, on anything. I just felt like I didn't want to put myself in that situation where like I'm heading towards the jump and I have to do a trick that I'm scared of doing.
And question for you. To me, it seems like a smoother dub would be switch trip 12.
A smoother triple?
Yeah, like switch dub 9 to another cork 3.
Yeah.
Like kind of Sammy. A lot of guys, I think their first triple is that.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, the first quad was that.
Yeah. To me, the first, like a triple 16 looks way more intense than a switch trip 12.
Yeah, but I had done a whole lot more dub 10s because it was part of my run most of the times. And like, at the end of the day, it's like, it was just a dub 10, which I had done a million times, to a cork 5. Or like, so it, and then I could have a stronger takeoff too because I was going forward and whatnot. Whereas switch, you'd like, I don't know. It was, and I knew that I wouldn't like my switch triple because my switch dub 9s were flippy, and I didn't want to be that guy doing a switch triple that's like switch 180 backflip, backflip, backflip. I didn't want to be that guy. So,
but when I see your, maybe I think it's in your 2013 X Games run.
Yeah.
You do a switch dub 10 jab.
Yeah.
Man, that in trip, I think that would look good.
Yeah, but
I think Gus did some like that switch trip jab.
He did. Yeah, he did a switch trip 14, kind of like a switch dub 10 would look, but to 14. But I don't know. I did switch triples later on, and that's what they were. They were switch 180, side flip, side flip, side flip, land forward, or switch 180, side flip, side flip.
Okay, so you
land
did them.
To 14. Yeah, I did them at X Games, big air practice. I was doing slow, but I was an alternate for big air, so I could snake, and I learned it because I was like, oh, I got to do this in my slope run. Never did it. The weather was shitty.
But never had the chance after that to do that?
Never seized the chance, that's for sure. No, I guess I did have the chance once in 2017, but didn't do it. And so yeah, I just figured that I had to do a switch triple, and I was like, this is the best jump I'm going to get, so I'm going to try it. And I think I did 3 of them. I did 2 to 12 and 1 to 14.
So what was
All
your
of them
process?
felt horrible.
Did you do like a bunch of switched up 9s to ease it?
Yeah, exactly. You do a bunch of switched up 9s. Make sure you pop as hard as you can and you're patient, because you just don't want to like rush it and have no amplitude and end up hitting the knuckle and dying.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a bunch of switched up 9s, and JF was like, yeah, man, you're good. You got it.
So
and I was like, okay, rest in peace. I'm going.
But what's that? Because I don't really know JF Cusson.
Yeah.
Is it because he's not someone who talks a lot?
Well, no. It's just like, well, what else is he gonna say? Like,
Yeah.
I know what I got to do. Like, and I know the rotation is fine. It's just I got to do it the way that it has to be done.
But like, does it change something when he tells you you're good?
Not at all, dude. It just tells me like, okay, you've done enough switched up 9s. Like, it's not gonna change anything.
Yeah, okay.
Just do it.
Okay, in that sense, I got you.
Yeah. So yeah, fuck triples. I didn't like them.
And now it's time for another sponsor break. J Skis is a company based out of Burlington, Vermont. Their business model of making limited edition graphic skis that are sold online directly to consumer is super dope. As a fan of original graphics, I love it. They put a lot of effort into making great skis, but also in making them look super good. I finally had the chance to try out my vacation skis this spring, and I gotta say, I love them. They were so playful that after shooting a jump, I had to go in front of the lens and hit it myself. Knowing how much time and effort Jason Leventhal and his team put into each ski they produce, I'm really looking forward to their upcoming releases. Support companies that support skiing. Support J Skis. You've had a big crash at JOI. You're off on triples. It's not your thing.
Yeah.
You're not into them.
Yeah.
You still do it and you stomp it.
Yeah. But they were ugly. And they were out of control and not popped. And
yeah, well, because when you say you're ugly, I'm like, well, how can you know?
it was flippy. I have the shots. Oh no, actually, I dropped my computer in my bathtub. But I did have the shot.
Story. There's the bathtub.
Yeah, and then there's another story about the computer. I'll get back to it later. Just remind me. But yeah, so I just didn't like, my takeoffs were all panicky and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And later on, I tried them again at Stubai, and I never committed to it.
Was it because there was something wrong with how you did them, or was it really like the mental game affecting how you did them?
A bit of both. Like, I didn't have a good pop. My survival instinct of like spin as fast as you can because you need to get 3 flips around was overtaking the like be patient with it, pop it as hard. Yeah, like I was seeing it the wrong way. Like, I knew I had to not do it that way, but I couldn't convince my body to do it the right way because it's scarier if you're not confident.
Yeah. Go ahead with the laptop story.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious.
So we had this one trip. We went to Windels in the summer with Team Canada, and I'm sitting on this bench at the airport. I think JF or Tobin went to pick up the rental car, and we're sitting on this bench. And then he shows up. I get up, put my ski bag in the van, and drive to Windels. Then I get to Windels, and we unload the car. And then I get inside, and I'm about to go hang out on my computer. And I'm like, shit, I don't have my backpack, guys. And then I left it at the airport, called them. They didn't have it for some reason. That was super weird. I didn't have it. And then I go buy a new computer like 3 weeks later. Get back home, and then I get called again like 2 months or so later, and they tell me that they have my backpack, and like the airport calls me and tells me they have my backpack, and I ask them if everything's in it, and they're like, yeah, there's the MacBook and all that and blah blah blah. I'm like, no way, okay, that's sick. And then I asked them to ship it in Breckenridge because we're going there for Do Tour. And that year we went on a trip to New Zealand, and I bought this coffee mug in New Zealand as a souvenir. And that coffee mug was in that backpack, and now that backpack's at Do Tour. And I get my backpack, I get my coffee mug, I get my laptop. I'm like, oh yeah, that's sick. And now I have 2 MacBooks. That's sick. Drink coffee in my coffee mug for the whole week. Leave. Shit, I forgot my coffee mug, my souvenir in the cabinets at Do Tour. a whole year later, we get the exact same condo, and there's my coffee mug from New Zealand. And then I picked it back up and brought it back home. So yeah, funny how everything found its way back.
Okay, I thought it was going to end up with another computer crashed.
No, I didn't break that one. I just had 2 laptops, so I sold one to my brother for like $100 because he was at school and he could use it and I didn't need to. So
good guy, Alex.
Yeah, I gave him a little gift.
As you were saying, the competition scene was getting more intense with triples and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not your cup of tea.
Not really. I mean, I wanted to be able to do it, but I was too scared to go into the triple.
What was the setup with Team Canada? Did they have like sports psychologists that you could talk to about those stuff?
Yeah, I did. That was later on though, but I did start seeing a sports psychologist like before the Olympics and all that. But like, I basically went there for no reason because like there was no way that guy was going to convince me that, and that wasn't his goal either, to convince me that I'm going to be fine if I try a triple.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no way that he was going to, whatever he was going to say, that I was going to be like, oh, yeah, you're right. I'm going to do a triple because...
What was the sessions like?
Oh, there are a bunch of things. Like I was telling him about my childhood and a bunch of things, like just personal stuff.
So
and
it wasn't only sports. It was like broader than
it was
sports.
Broader, yeah, for sure. And it was fun. Like I was just talking to him about a bunch of things and it was fun. I guess he jotted down whenever the hell he jotted down. And but like right after the Olympics, I stopped seeing him and it was fine. Like,
what were your goals after 2015? You get your medal at X Games, then it kind of goes a bit downhill mentally, I guess.
Yeah.
With the triples and everything, but still, you've got sponsors. You're on Team Canada, and everything's going well.
Yeah, I actually just picked up North Face. So,
what were your goals?
So at that point, I knew that I could still do good in contests if triples weren't a thing. So I was obviously still going to stick around with Team Canada. Cool life, travel the world, just do a run. So I did that, and then, but I could definitely feel that, like, you know, let's say whenever conditions were good, I wasn't a podium contender, not the way that I was maybe in like 2013 and 2015. So, but I still kept doing all the contests, and I actually won my first World Cup in that year. Yeah. It came out of nowhere, but
Olympic test event.
Yeah, exactly.
You go to Korea to like kind of test out, do like kind of
basically live out the Olympics 2 years in advance. Usually they do it 1 year in advance.
Is it kind of also for the organizers, like to prepare things, like do a test run?
Yeah, it's for everybody, honestly. Mostly the organizers, more than the skiers, I'd say. Like they just check out if the slope has good inclination or steepness, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, basically that's all they did.
So there's the best skiers in the world there.
Yeah, it's like the Olympics, but it's a World Cup. So there's a bunch of skiers instead of just like 32.
So you go there and you win.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. I couldn't believe it. Honestly, that was insane. Like, it was qualies, mess up my first run, stomp my second run, actually whiffed a grab, but nobody saw it. I was hyped. Get a super good score. Finals come up. Mess up the first run. And at that point, I was kind of in a shit place mentally. So I was like, I already did so good. I already made it to finals. I'm fine. I could be last and it's okay, dude. Like, whatever.
So was it kind of a goal?
Making
like
it to
for you was like, in comps, it's make finals?
At that point, that's kind of what it was. It was like definitely one step at a time. Like, whereas in 2013 and 2015, my goal was to really like get on the podium. Whereas now it was just like one step at a time. Make finals first and then you'll check it out.
Was it like because you knew that the level was so intense?
Yeah, exactly. And also there's so many skiers and so many guys were putting out sick runs. Like, how do you compare some guy who does like switch to, back to, right to, front to, switch, like, you know, a bunch of runs could be like equivalent, but which one's better? Like,
yeah, and I feel like it's more than ever today.
Yeah, for sure.
When
it's a bit of a gamble.
It used to be that like you see someone seventh and there was a difference between him and the podium. And nowadays, I think it's mostly wobbles, like someone messes up a jump a bit, but the runs are in the top 10. They're all crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's check out your winning run from the Olympic test event.
Yeah.
The course looked kind of funky.
It was nice, though.
Switch to back 4.
It was pretty big. It was kind of icy at that point, though. It was the morning.
Kind of a hip to right 2 on disaster. Then a big ass tube. 4 on.
Yeah, that
straight,
came out of nowhere.
To a back 2 on a flat rail to drop. Then
right 12. Yeah, same jump run.
Right dub 12, switch dub 12, and left dub 12.
Yeah, exactly. I liked 12 on that. I barely ever did it with safety, so it felt good. But I didn't think I was going to get first at all. I knew it was like maybe podium, but I didn't think I was going to be first with that run. I was super surprised and hyped. It was like there was Henrik and Jossie on the podium. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be Henrik. Like, how's that going to happen? and then I shit you not, 90 something shows up and wow.
Because you said you kind of idolized Phil when you were younger, and when you were a bit older, like going on a trip with Wallish, you were like, oh my god, I'm with Wallish.
Yeah.
And like you knew Henrik and you were probably friends with him,
sure.
But still, was there a thing of like, yeah, I'm on the podium with Henrik?
Well, yeah, dude, definitely. And even Jossie too. Like, I think those guys are so stylish and so like they've been there forever. And like I remember Henrik was doing this switch like 16s in New Zealand or something. Like that was so long ago and so cool. And then Jossie was doing Dew Tour like way before I was doing Dew Tour. Like, so it was crazy to be on the podium with those guys and to be like higher up on the podium than those guys was also pretty dope too.
And now it's time for another sponsor break. Dickens is a family-owned restaurant chain with 12 locations in the Montreal region, and I'm really stoked to have them as a sponsor. If you've never been, you have got to try it out. Their one-of-a-kind hamburgers have been favorites of mine since I was a kid. They've started selling products like their legendary sauce, and they have a lot more coming out soon, so be on the lookout for that. Support companies that support skiing. Support Dickens restaurants. That was really big leading up to the 2018 Olympics.
Yeah. I like saved the day for Team Canada right there. It was like the most clutch thing I could ever do, dude. Fuck up my first run, fuck up my second run, boom, third run shows up, win the contest. Is like for everybody who's funding Team Canada, it's like, hey, give us money because our athlete just won the Olympics 2 years in advance. Keep on funding us, get us training, and we're going to win the Olympics in 2 years. Like that's basically what they say, what they sell. So it was like the most clutch thing I could possibly do. I was hyped.
So landing it on your third run, was there something for you mentally of like having stress off your shoulder? Saying
I wasn't even nervous for the finals. Like I told you, I made finals. At that point, I knew that skiing good weather, I wasn't a podium contender. I guess for some reason I was at that contest because nobody did triples. But like I made finals and I was like, screw it, I'm hyped. Fuck it, do my first run and screw up the 4 on. Fuck it. What do I care? Do the second run, screw up the 4 on again. Fuck, whatever.
The 4 on.
Yeah, because it was so short.
Yeah,
that I had to go slow. But I had to pop high to get the 4 around and not catch my tips. And you had to like land right on it to fall into the tranny perfectly. The 2 runs before that, I just landed right in the middle of the rail and slid to the end. And then I couldn't hit the flat bar. So that was the tricky thing about it.
Okay.
So yeah, no, but I wasn't nervous at all.
You telling me that you had a hard time with a 4 on, I'm like,
I know, crazy. I just slid to the end of the rail when I shouldn't.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about you. You're like, I'm not going off early.
Yeah,
why?
What's that? No, but yeah.
So
that was cool.
2016, 2017, you get a couple podiums here and there in SFR, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. I got 2016. I won that. I think that was my only podium that year. I'm not sure. And then 2017, I got third at SFR because the weather was horrible and they canceled finals. Actually, qualies was okay, but everybody was like not sending it. And then they canceled finals and I was third. So hell yeah, buddy.
After bunch of do tours, bunch of X Games, big air comps, missing out on Sochi.
Yeah.
You with those podiums that you got the years prior, you're qualified for PeyongChang.
Yeah, exactly. I qualified with third place at SFR and then 2 top 10s that I managed to get. I don't remember where.
Mm-hmm. And it's a really different Team Canada than in Sochi, whereas in Sochi there was ABM alone.
Yeah.
And in PeyongChang it was a heavy crew.
Yeah, it was all the boys.
Evan, Teal, ABM, yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think except for you, the other 3 all made finals. Is it possible?
Exactly.
And they all had crazy runs.
Yeah, definitely.
How was the Olympic experience? Like, let's start off, like, when did you find out, and how was it when you found out, like, that you were actually going?
The way that I found out, actually, was I got a phone. I had totally forgotten that, but now that you're talking about it, we had a World Cup. It was the last. So, basically, 2018 went World Cup in Snowmass. I had learned dub bios. I was skiing super good in Snowmass. I was in a good place mentally because you couldn't do triples. And so I make it to finals. I'm feeling good. And I'm like, in finals, I'm going to one-up my game. Instead of a dub 10, I'm going to do a dub bio 10. And
dub bio 10.
Dub Misty, dub bio, dub whatever, dub forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so.
What grab?
Safety.
Okay.
And so I do it in practice and I commit to it and they're fine and I stomp them. I'm hyped. And then in my contest run, freaking like a retard, dude, like brain fart. I'm just like setting it. I set it and in the air, I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. And I just open up. But like opening up on a dub cork where you're setting backwards is like, if you over rotate to your back, it's going to hurt and you have like momentum that's going to whip whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you over rotate a dub bio, you're like flipping into the landing. It's like, and so I did that and I opened up and I landed flat on my back, dude. Like it was like there was a trampoline and I was in a training camp or something. It was so whack. And so I micro fractured my back, one of my vertebrae. I think it was my T4 vertebrae. Went to the hospital, huge bill, so annoying. And dealt with that. And then there was another World Cup in a Mammoth that I couldn't ski because I was hurt.
And did you end up pulling out of X Games due to that?
Yeah, and then my vertebrae was still hurting for the X Games, and I was like, I'm not gonna go and get messed up. Like I'm gonna hopefully do the Olympics and feel 100%. But basically, I got invited right after Mammoth when there was no more qualifying events. My phone just rang, and we were in Reno at a hotel just before our flight. And my phone rings, and it's some journalist from Quebec who's like, Monsieur Bellemare, félicitations, vous êtes qualifié. And I'm like, what? Oh, really? No way. Cool. And I was like, she just told me I qualified myself for the Olympics. I made the team. And so that's how I officially heard the news. That's how it went.
Party time in the hotel?
Yeah, not really, actually. But I think we gambled a bit, but we didn't. I didn't puke on my computer that time.
What was your reaction? Was it like relief or?
Yeah, a little bit. But
were you expecting it?
Yeah, the coaches were like, we think you're good. Like 98% think you're good, so you should be good. So I was stoked to have it confirmed, but I wasn't surprised either.
How far ahead did you learn it? That you were in, like, because for Team USA
probably
guys,
3 weeks.
3 weeks ahead.
2 or 3, yeah.
So it's like
it's last second.
Yeah.
You're like, fighting for your spot till the very last minute.
It's draining mentally. It must be.
Yeah. For me, it wasn't because I got hurt, but before I got hurt, I was still fighting for it. So yeah, it is.
Because as soon as you get your call, it's like, hey, hop on a plane, come see us.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's like, pack your bags because you're leaving in 2 weeks.
How was the Olympic experience?
It was nice. It was a little weird too. Felt kind of like summer camp. Like there's this huge cafeteria and there's a bunch of food and you just go there with your friends and you get your food and then you sit at the table and you put your tray over there because that's where the trays go.
Do people sit by country?
Mostly, yeah, they do. Sometimes people like mix, but
socialize a bit.
Yeah, but mostly it was countries.
Mick Kingsbury told me about the Olympics, and he was telling me that it was cool for him as a big hockey fan to see the Team Canada boys.
Yeah,
and like at some point he came across Sidney Crosby.
Right,
and he was
right.
like, "Hey man, can I get a photo?"
Yeah.
And
that's nice.
Long story short, he didn't get that photo that time.
Oh, that's not nice.
Well, he ended up, he asked Crosby. Crosby said yes, but they kind of lost each other. Like he didn't find him. And at the end of the games, he was waiting to go at the closing ceremony, and Team Canada comes in last second because they just won the tournament. And Crosby's beside him, and he's like, "Hey, do you still want your picture?"
Oh,
and he was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, that's
so
sick.
like he walked at the closing ceremony with like his hockey idol.
Right.
Was there some stuff of that with you, of like coming across Shaun White, or I don't know, like some hockey guys? Or
no, not. Did I see anyone that fazed me?
Because like the biggest stars, let's say in the snow Olympics or Winter Olympics, is like the hockey guys, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but they live. There's like the ski village, and there's like the ice rink village, kind of. So like all the people that need a mountain to do their sport, like bobsled and skiing, and all those guys are in the ski town, and all the other guys who need the ring, like ice rink, curling, whatnot, are all down at the bottom. So I didn't really see all those guys that much, really.
The competition, it was also a really cool setup. Like we talked that Sochi was really dope. What were your thoughts on the PeyongChang course?
I thought the rails were sick, dude.
They were huge.
I think the rails should be like that more often. It might not suit everybody, but it's fun when you can like do tricks on and off, and like you feel like it made like every trick be gnarly, which can bum people out, I guess, but it also made it like that much harder to do the tricks you normally do.
And you guys are at such a high level that it allows you to do them.
Yeah, you're right.
Sometimes in slopestyle course, if it's a small flat rail or down rail, it's like you'll do the same tricks that you were doing 10 years ago because you can't do
that's all you can do. You're right.
Like I remember you did a switch tails 4-on to switch.
Yeah.
Evan did a 4-on back swap 2 out.
Yeah.
And that's like that big rail allowed you to do that.
Yeah, you're right, actually. And so, yeah, the rails were honestly top notch. There was nothing that was bad about them at all. Like, it was sick. The jumps were all right. I kind of hated jumps at that point. I was scared of triples. I just tried to dub bio and I didn't commit to it, so I hurt my back. So every jump was like, fuck this, dude. I hated them.
Trying to survive.
Yeah, basically just trying to get to the bottom. And so that was a bummer, but I knew that I wouldn't do good at the Olympics because at that point I didn't even care. I made it to the Olympics and I was like, I'm not doing a triple and eating shit and getting hurt forever or whatnot here. I'm not doing a dub bio. I might do it if I feel it, but it's not a goal of mine to do that. So I just showed up and I was like, I'm doing my jump run that I've always been doing. I'm doing the sickest rails that I can do. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. And you didn't get a particularly good score?
No.
But I remember watching it live and the judging seemed off. Like it seemed like they were the first guys to go ahead got a really low score, kind of to give them space for further down.
Yeah.
But then it ended up that I don't know. Like,
we were forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you got a 70. Let's say I don't know what you got, but let's say you got a 70. I think if you went like 20 riders further, you maybe would have gotten a 78.
Yeah. I think you're right too. I mean, I never even looked at the contest again after, so I can't really say, but in the moment, that's what it felt like. I felt like my run was pretty good and McRae's run was pretty good. We did both our runs one after the other, and we got a pretty low score. And then looking at the other runs afterwards, I was comparing them always to me, and I always felt like the score was higher, which was a bummer. But like,
yeah, because a lot of runs didn't have the technicality that you had on your rails.
Yeah.
I think they're like in the middle of the course, you did a rail that no one was doing.
Yeah, the little whoop-tee, like flat to C, kind of, yeah.
You did switch 2 frets for, which is still good.
Yeah.
I think I was like, maybe it's that, but still, I think...
Yeah, I think it was, for me personally, I think it was the hip where I did a switch 2 into the hip and I didn't grab. That's what I've heard a lot, that like kind of looked like I was going to grab and I didn't get it because I was...
Were you trying to?
Yeah, for sure. In a best of both worlds, I would...
Switch to mute.
Yeah, mute or safety or whatever. I don't remember what I was trying, but yeah, I was bummed that I missed that, and I was bummed that it screwed up my scores so much because I didn't think it was like actually something bad. I thought a grab would be a bonus instead of not a grab being a disadvantage, you know?
Yeah.
But whatevs. I don't... Judging skiing is probably like the hardest thing to do accurately, so... And even then, like, someone's going to be unhappy at some point. Like, you can't. So, whatever.
And that's something that I talked a bit with ABM this winter after X Games with the whole controversy of the bigger comp where Henrik got a low score.
Yeah.
And with slopestyle, with everyone, like, because ABM got 4th in both big air and slopestyle this year. So I was asking him, like,
are you mad?
Not are you mad, but like, yeah, just talking about how difficult it is. And that's exactly what he was saying. He was like, yo, like judging is so hard that I have no complaints whatsoever.
Yeah, for sure. You can't. Like, it's gnarly.
You talked about that a couple minutes ago of like a certain slope style run versus another. Like sometimes they're equivalent kind of.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing like this year with the big air contest. Like, the guys, it wasn't the like dub 10 mute era. Like, we're far from that. Like, everyone were doing different tricks.
Yeah.
Like, between Regetli's triples to ABM's triples to A-Hall's dub 16 nose, it's like...
Yeah.
How do you...
Yeah, how do you... Yeah, for sure. No, I know. I mean, I used to judge for fun whenever a contest was on TV. I'd judge it, and now I don't even bother with it. I'm just like, oh, I'll see what they think.
Yeah.
It's too hard.
Having your own... I think I did that for the Olympics.
Yeah. I would have done it.
I took notes. Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but I remember taking notes and like just...
It's fun.
For the fun of it, like what your results would be. Yeah, it's hard, man. Because there's like 6 hits? Maybe 7?
Yeah.
Let's say 7 hits.
Yeah.
And I remember I was kind of noting the tricks and if they had any flops or anything, kind of to keep track like an hour down the road.
Yeah.
Man, it's so much like if it's 50 runs in total with 7 hits each.
Yeah.
So you got your dream kind of, which is not the dream you had as a child, I guess, but still you got to the Olympics.
Yeah, that was the goal of the moment. Yeah.
The childhood dream was going to X Games.
And winning.
Yeah.
But 3rd is fine.
Yeah, 3rd is fine. Then a goal that came while you were in your career.
Yeah.
Made it happen.
Yeah.
What was the aftermath of the Olympics for you? Or being there, like, were you kind of celebrating of like, okay, there were some struggles along the way, but I made it happen?
No. I exhaled deeply. And I said, thank God it's over. But I was still hungry, actually, and I thought I was going to keep on skiing a lot. We had a training camp in Mammoth. I went there, and I was like, meh, I don't feel like doing tricks right now. Screw that. So then...
Do you think it was the old Olympic process that drained you?
Yeah, kind of, and also, for me, mostly, it wasn't the Olympic process more than it was the fact that I was putting myself in a situation that scared me every day. Every time I was going skiing, every time there was a training camp or something, it's like, shit, what if the conditions are perfect and it's all up to me to push my limits, which is not something I want to do anymore. Like, and I feared those situations, and like, yeah, so that was mentally for me, that's what was mentally draining me. So training camp in Mammoth, I didn't do anything.
But is that something that has to do with the structure of Team Canada, which is like they pay for your trip, they pay for such and such. And so when you're going with them, it's never like a mellow day.
Yeah, you're never on vacation.
Yeah.
No, you're not. But they're not like writing down how many times you did a dub 12 this trip and making sure that you get up to 10 because you need to do 10. Like,
you don't have a quota.
No, like none of that. Like, and honestly, the coaches were so chill. Like they weren't putting extra pressure on me or anything. I think at that point, what I was feeling was obvious that I should be feeling that way because I had basically been doing the same jump run since 2015. Like for 3 years, I was doing the same 3 jumps. So like I had to up my game, and I knew I wasn't gonna do that. And like it became obvious at one point. It was like the big elephant in the room that no one was really mentioning, but we all knew he was there. Yeah. So hung out all summer. Trip to New Zealand came up. I was like, no, I don't want to go. Like I don't feel like going. I'm not. And so I didn't go. And then trip to Saas came up. I went. I skied okay. I hadn't skied since the trip to Mammoth, so I was kind of rusty. So I got to not do a triple and have it being justified because I hadn't been on snow for so long. And then Stubai, there was the first World Cup of the season. Practiced, did my run in practice like once or twice. Contest showed up. The weather was shitty. And at that point, I couldn't even do my runs in shitty weather. I needed the perfect weather to do the average run and get 16th or something. So then qualies show up. Weather sucks. I'm at the top. And I just look at JF and I'm like, I think that's it. I think this is... I'm not dropping in. No, I won't drop in anymore. And that was super hard emotionally, like being in that moment where I was giving up on that life that I've been living for so long. And so I actually went on the other side of the mountain and cried a bit for like an hour or something, and then I skied back home, and like I knew that day was going to come pretty soon, but it was still like admitting it was definitely hard for me.
But did you see it coming? Like, were you questioning it in the months leading up to it, or was it just impulsively like on the start of like, okay, it's over?
No, I kind of felt like it was coming. Like I remember in the summer, actually, we went to Maximize to ski a bit, and we were jumping in an airbag, and I was like, I don't want to be doing this anymore, actually. Like, and so I knew I thought I'd go for the whole season though and do the contest one more season. But yeah, it kind of came as a surprise to me too to not even ski that year in contest, but I couldn't push through another year of just like getting by. And
there's the whole factor of if you're not feeling it with the type of stuff you're doing, then you shouldn't do it, because with the risk involved in everything.
Yeah, exactly. And like, yeah, no, there was too many demons at that point telling me like, hey, you remember that time you didn't commit to your dub bio? Hey, you remember that time you thought you were going to go to 16, but you landed sideways? Like, those guys are just hanging out all the time in every contest. So I was like, fuck it, I'm done.
And there wasn't the angel saying, hey, you remember that time at X Games where you won bronze?
No, and that guy was being stepped on hard.
He was being bullied.
Oh, yeah. Shut the fuck up. Yeah.
So then that was it for a still super successful career.
Yeah, and that's what concluded
all things
it.
Considered.
Yeah, no, thanks. But yeah, I'm super content with the way I went through this whole contest thing, and I had so much fun doing it, and no, I have no regrets, but I had to call it.
Then you had a couple of years, kind of mellow years.
I just had 1 year actually. Actually 2 years, you're right. So 2019, I gave up on the contest scenes. I was still doing a couple trips with the team. I think I did 2. I did the Do Tour Rail Jam, I believe. I think I won. I don't know. Yeah, I think I won.
Classic Alex getting back to his roots, winning rail jams.
So I think I did good over there, so that was good for the mental. But apart from that, that was pretty much it. Yeah.
In 2021,
right,
you're getting back onto the
yeah.
street horse.
Yeah, so actually 2020, real quick, I filmed a bit. I was still sponsored at that point, so I still had to create content and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when I linked up with you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when we started shooting a bit. We never skied urban. We only skied in the park for a couple days and got clips. And I did rail jams that year, so it was overall a pretty good year. And then we ended up having this little film project that you basically built all on your own. I did the skiing, but you did all the rest. And so now we're here, the year after that little film project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's stop there.
Fine.
And I think let's get back to it this fall.
I'm down.
When it'll be
Done, more
a complete
concrete
thing.
Yeah, more.
And we can like reflect back on it.
I agree.
But yeah, we've been getting at it.
Yeah, for a whole year, every weekend at least.
And now we're in a ghost town.
Now we're in Murdochville.
Searching for powder, but finding rain.
Yeah, it's not there, but it's okay.
It's
We're doing
it's
other
a sign
things.
of God telling you that urban is your way.
Stay in the streets. I guess.
So yeah, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks
Really
for having
appreciate
me,
it.
man.
Yeah, and hyped to talk about the movie this fall.
Likewise.
Cheers. So this is it for episode 18. It was really great chatting with Alex. I really enjoyed our discussion, and I'm really looking forward to this fall to chat about our 2021 movie that we've been working on. Big thank you to this episode sponsors: Access Board Shop, Treefort Lifestyles, J Skis, Dick Anne's Restaurant, Planks Clothing. Peace.